Good evening. I'd like to tell you a story about pure magic, but it begins with something far from it. I was 35 weeks pregnant with my son, Luke, when my doctors discovered that I had no amniotic fluid. My baby needed to come out and was given no chance of surviving beyond a few days. When Luke was born in September of 2000, his underdeveloped lungs were not visible on X-ray. He spent 3 weeks on a ventilator, struggling for his life, and 3 months in the neonatal intensive care unit. This rough start was just the beginning of our journey with autosomal recessive polycystic kidney disease, or ARPKD. Luke's early childhood was full of hospital visits. When he was 6, he was finally strong enough to have his kidneys removed and to receive one of his dad's kidneys. In the years since, he has overall been much healthier, though he's still on a serious medication regimen. His illness has affected his growth, and he has a hearing loss that resulted from antibiotic side effects. Luke's transplanted kidney currently functions at about 50%, and he has at least one more transplant in his future. Luke is now 14 and has an incredible zest for life. Thanks. He's a learner who sponges up as much information about the natural world as he can. When he was quite young, Luke went fishing on the Long Island Sound with my father, and this sparked in him a deep love of the sport. Luke finds every free moment he can to get out and catch something. He is a fantastic fisherman. Luke and I heard about Make-A-Wish, Massachusetts and Rhode Island from fellow patients at Boston Children's Hospital. I reached out to the organization and learned that Luke was eligible for a wish. When Luke's wish volunteers came to ask him what he longed for, out of the blue, he shared his wish to be featured on his favorite TV show, Bass to Billfish, alongside the show's host and his hero, Peter Miller. Considering that Luke's other idea had been a trip to the Galapagos, I was thrown for a loop. A fishing show? Really? But wow, Luke could not have made a better choice. The huge limo that took us to the airport was just the beginning of the best days that Luke and I have ever shared. We arrived at the South Seas Resort on Captiva Island in Florida and were shown to our condo overlooking the ocean. The following morning, we waited at the dock with butterflies in our stomachs. Around the bend came Peter Miller in his fishing boat. After introductions, Luke and I climbed aboard and started to feel more at ease. We spent the entire day out on the water and caught so many incredible fish. Luke shared his knowledge with Peter while showing off his skill with the rod. That night, we were treated to a picture-perfect dinner with Peter and his crew. We watched the sun setting on the horizon while being served the freshest fish that Luke had just caught. Our second day on the water was just as spectacular. We caught so many fish that Peter decided to make not one, but 2 episodes out of Luke's trip. One of the many highlights of this experience was how kind, generous, and real Peter and his crew were. They had Luke relaxed and laughing from beginning to end, with all that awesome fishing to go along with it. For days after returning home, Luke couldn't get the smile off of his face. And recently he told me that whenever he feels frustrated or upset, he looks back to his wish to remind himself that times won't always be bad. Luke's wish was pure magic, so much more so than either of us could have ever dreamt up. Through it, my son felt like much more than a 14-year-old with chronic renal failure. He became the master fisherman that he had believed could only happen if his life were a storybook. And I thank each of you for making this incredible experience possible.